Well, let's get a check of what's happening in the world of business. France 24's business editor Kate Moody joins me now. Kate, let's begin with a look at some new data coming out of the US about retail sales. Now, retail sales are, of course, a pretty important part of the US economy, aren't they?
Absolutely, Tom. Consumer spending represents 70% of American economic activity. It's really the backbone of the U.S. economy. And that's why when we saw those initial lockdowns being instituted in March and April, retail sales collapsed and the U.S. economy was drawn into recession. Strong spending is really going to be key to any sort of economic recovery here. Now, U.S. consumers have increased their pace of spending for the 6th month in a row, but the 0.3% increase that was reported for October is much weaker than analysts had expected. It's significantly lower than the 1.6% jump that we saw in spending in September. Analysts saying that Americans have now started to pare back their spending as the number of coronavirus infections increases across the country, and they head back into a period of uncertainty, colder weather, and also more restrictions. This data from the Commerce Department showed more spending on things like new cars, home improvements, and athletic equipment, and a drop in areas that require more in-person interaction. So things like beauty, travel, and restaurants.
Okay, so that's the bigger picture for American consumers. How are individual retailers faring then?
Well, those spending trends that I was just mentioning are actually reflected in the individual quarterly results that we're seeing. Home Depot, for example, has reported strong sales for the third quarter, revenue up 23% from the same period a year ago. It's the country's largest home improvement and construction company. It says it's going to be permanently increasing compensation for hourly workers as a result of its success. Walmart, the world's biggest retail group, has said that its quarterly sales rose 6.4%. That's a slower pace than previous periods during the pandemic. Shopper traffic in those stores has decreased sharply, and consumers are really focusing on online sales. Online traffic for Walmart jumped 79% in the third quarter. Walmart didn't provide a financial outlook, but it says it's been investing heavily in its website and expects to continue doing so. We're seeing more demand for things like groceries and electronics, as well as the non-essentials that company sells as well. Chains that focus really on clothing have seen a real drop in its sales. Kohl's, for example, reporting a 13% drop for the third period this Tuesday. A lot of retailers have rolled out their Black Friday promotions early. They're hoping to get an early jump on that crucial holiday sales period, which will be more important than ever for them this year. But analysts say that the outlook for U.S. retailers is really increasingly dire, especially as the chances of another stimulus bill before the end of this year appear slim. And they say that there could be a real wave of retail bankruptcies on the horizon.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for that update. Our business editor, Kate Moody. Thank you so much.